Hello, everyone. We would like to get started. My name is Courtney Gedengle from RAND. I am really thrilled to welcome you to this AHRQ webinar around our project called Implementing Diagnostic Excellence Across Systems, the IDEAS Project. And today, the focus of this particular webinar is to dig into and provide an overview of the toolkit for engaging patients in diagnostic safety. And I just want to thank you all for being here and for your interest in the project. As we go along, if you have any questions, there is plenty of time for questions at the end. And there is a Q&A button at the bottom of your screen that you can click on to submit questions, and we will get to all of them either during this, or if there are lots of questions, we will address them after the webinar is over. So again, thanks for coming today. So as you all know, diagnostic safety is really, really critically important. Diagnostic safety events contribute to significant harms and to preventable harms in up to 1 in 20 outpatient visits and up to 250,000 inpatient stays every year. And in fact, they're actually the most common root cause for medical liability claims. And so for these reasons, to provide the best possible care and the safest care, it's really important that healthcare organizations and clinicians have just actionable, practical, and flexible resources to help them and to support them in diagnostic safety improvement efforts. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Margie Schofer from AHRQ to tell you a little more about the background for this project.
Thanks, Courtney. Hello, everyone. I'm Margie Schofer, and I work at the Agency for Healthcare Research and Quality, otherwise known as AHRQ or AHRQ. Improving diagnostic safety and quality is an AHRQ priority, and to that end, we've developed a bunch of different resources to promote diagnostic excellence. These include a series of issue briefs on different diagnostic safety topics, as well as the 3 toolkits that are the focus of this implementation and sustainment support project. 2 of the resources that are the subject of this project, Measure DX and Calibrate DX, were developed for AHRQ by the Baylor College of Medicine. And the Patient Toolkit, which is the focus of today's webinar, was developed by the MedStar Health Research Institute. All of the resources were pilot tested as part of the development process to understand barriers and facilitators to use, as well as perceived impact. And then the evaluation findings were used to revise the toolkits. Now, we at AHRQ know that in order to promote toolkit use, we ideally need to work with healthcare organizations to provide training and implementation support, as well as support for you to continue using the resources once the implementation period is ended. So to do this, we award a contract to RAND with the goal of having each of these resources being implemented in at least 50 healthcare organizations across the US. I am just so excited to be here today as part of this webinar to let you know how you can use the Patient Toolkit to improve communication during the clinician-patient encounter, which can promote diagnostic excellence. So with that, let me hand it over to Sangeeta.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sangeeta Alawalia. I'll be the last switch through our slide presentation today. I am co-leading this project with Dr. Courtney Gedengle. The IDEAS project is really designed to support diagnostic safety across different healthcare settings and different users of these diagnostic safety resources. So you can see the 3 resources here. The toolkit for engaging patients to improve diagnostic safety really aims to help clinicians and their patients engage in improved communication to support diagnostic safety in these settings. Measure DX, which is designed for QI or patient safety teams in any healthcare setting, aims to help sites use the data that they already collect to identify diagnostic safety events, and then learn what systems and processes could be improved. And then finally, Calibrate DX seeks to improve individual clinicians' diagnostic decision-making through self-evaluation and a review of their own cases in any healthcare setting, really focused on individually licensed clinicians whose scope of practice includes diagnosis. So today in this webinar, as Margie mentioned, we're going to focus on the implementation of the toolkit in your practice as part of this project. And again, this is a diagnostic safety resources that focuses on clinicians and patients in any office-based setting or clinical encounter. As those of us on this webinar likely know very well, diagnostic error can occur in any care setting. And almost a third of patients will experience a diagnostic error firsthand. Even more relevant is that the vast majority of diagnostic error are related specifically to the patient-clinician encounter. And over half of these failures happen in ambulatory care. One of the leading contributors to diagnostic error is communication breakdowns during the patient-provider encounter. And so improving communication and information sharing during the patient-provider encounter could improve diagnostic safety. And that's exactly what Toolkit aims to do. It was developed by MedStar Health Institute for Quality and Safety in collaboration with both patients and clinicians. And it combines two easy-to-use approaches to improve communication, focusing on both engaging patients directly in the communication process, as well as enhancing clinician reflection, together to reduce the chance of a diagnostic failure. The patient component of this toolkit includes a worksheet to help patients prepare for their conversation with their clinician. This worksheet focuses on helping patients become the expert on themselves and communicating that effectively in the encounter. The clinician component consists of a very brief training and a one-page planning worksheet that helps clinicians provide the patient with a full minute of active listening without interruption at the start of patient visits, so that they can promote the reflection on what the patient is sharing about their health. For this IDEAS study, any office-based practice with at least 2 to 3 clinicians can test this resource in both primary and specialty care. We're also happy to talk to sites who may want to implement this in other settings where patient-clinician communication is just as critical, such as the ER. So why consider implementing the toolkit as part of this IDEAS project? This is a really great opportunity to improve care, minimize harm by implementing innovative methods to improve diagnostic safety. Even better, it's an opportunity to implement this resource with tailored support from RAND and from our partners, IHI and Convergence Health, including training on how to use it in practice. Implementing this resource can improve patient engagement, patient satisfaction, and patient experience in your organization. And it can improve your clinician's ability to gather the most important information relevant to diagnosis using an effective and efficient patient-centered approach. Finally, there's a modest stipend to recognize and appreciate your site's participation in this AHRQ effort. So on the next slide, I had actually mentioned the support that our project will provide. And so that includes flexible training on the resource, including toolkit-specific materials and tip sheets. Also, we will provide CE credits and ABMS-approved MOC credit. We are offering tailored hands-on help for sites who are implementing this resource, including dedicated email for questions with quick turnaround responses and office hours with content experts, as well as learning collaboratives with other participants from other sites. So sites can share learnings and discuss challenges that they might be facing during implementation. We'll also provide feedback on what the impact of that diagnostic safety resource was at your site at the end of our study. So what is needed to participate in the IDEAS project? One is a commitment to a 2-year effort, which is roughly broken up into 1 year of implementation, where RAND will collect information on the use of the toolkit in practice, followed by a 2nd year focused on sustaining the use of that toolkit in your practice. And we will provide support for helping you think through how best and how efficiently to continue to use this resource in practice, even beyond the life of our project. We are looking for executive or leadership support of your site's ability to participate in this effort. Ideally, sites would identify a site champion who could help coordinate project activities and sort of serve as a conduit between the site or the practice and us at the project team. As I mentioned earlier, to implement Toolkit, we are looking for at least 2 to 3 clinician participants who could engage in actually using the toolkit and any data collection activities that we on the project team spearhead. For Toolkit, there's really the requirement that you can work through the one-page planning worksheet to make decisions about implementing this toolkit, this resource at your practice. So really thinking through what it would take to implement this for a year at your site. And then identifying willingness of office staff to collect brief anonymous patient surveys. So as part of our evaluation of what this toolkit looks like when you're using it in practice, we do want to collect very brief closed-ended questions from patients who are part of this to understand their experience of this diagnostic safety resource. And in so doing, we may need the support of office staff to hand out surveys at the end of a clinic visit. I want to start to wrap up by sharing just a few of the quotes of people who have used this toolkit during the pilot test of this resource. So a clinician user had said, "We read through the 60 seconds for safety tool, and we teach it to each other to make sure we are all comfortable with it. The tool makes a lot of good sense. It's good practice in any setting." Another clinician user noted, "The note sheet provides patients a place to organize their thoughts and be more confident with what they're going to share. Many patients ask, 'Can I have an extra form to take home with me?' Really reinforces how useful this tool has been to patients." And then an actual patient user said, "The form helped me remember why I came to the doctor and to remember the aches and pains and illnesses I had experienced in between doctor visits." So you can see how it really supports the elicitation of critical information that can support diagnostic safety and diagnostic decision-making. And then in our last slide, so this is a image of our project timeline. You can see that at the top purple bar, we are in the recruitment phase, which is where we are currently. We are currently recruiting across the country on a rolling basis. We'll continue to do so into next year. Implementation of the toolkit for patient engagement, as shown by the blue bar, will begin in March of 2025. You can see that the first 12 months includes training and then implementation. So again, you will receive tailored training on how to implement the toolkit and use it in practice, followed by another 12 months of sustainability. And then you can see that as part of this project, we are also implementing Measure DX, which is the teal bar, and Calibrate DX, which is the purple bar. And each of those follows the same type of pattern of 1 year of training and implementation, followed by a subsequent year of sustainability. As I mentioned, toolkit implementation will begin in March of 2025. Measure DX implementation will begin later in June of 2025, and Calibrate DX will begin in August of 2025. So we hope that this webinar has answered some of your questions and piqued your interest in learning more about the project and considering being a participant in this AHRQ-funded effort. To learn more, you can visit our website at www.arc.gov/ideas-project. You can email us. The email ideasproject@rand.org goes straight to Dr. Gedangle and myself, as well as other people on our recruitment and outreach team. And you can scan this QR code to be taken directly to our project website, where you can learn a lot more about the toolkit, about our project, and about the other 2 resources we are implementing through this project. Thank you so much for your time.